everyone. So today we're going to look at descriptive statistics, including percentiles and box plots. So I have my same data set up here from last time. And to do the descriptive statistics, again, we're going to go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and then Descriptives. So it asks me what variable do I want the statistics on, and we'll go to the math variable again. And then down here you can choose which statistics you want. So the mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum. You can do the range if you want, the sum, standard error, variance, kurtosis, skewness. So I'm going to click on variance. And you also have some options here. Exclude entire case if any selected variable is missing. Include user missing data in analysis. Save z-scores. So you can choose those if you want. We're going to leave them blank for now. And click OK. And then again in our output viewer, we have the mean, the number of cases, the mean, standard deviation, the variance, the minimum, and the maximum. So those are the basic descriptive statistics. Right? And I could have included other ones as well. What we're really going to focus this session on, though, is how to do the box plot with the percentiles. Now, unfortunately, none of the options over here will let you do the box plot, so we have to use what's called the syntax editor. So we're going to go to File, New, and instead of clicking Data like we did last time, we're going to click Syntax. And that pops a little box here that we can type into. So if you notice back over here in the output viewer, before it gives us the descriptive statistics, it has this stuff up here, descriptives, variables equals math, statistics equals default, and variance. This is giving us the codes to get what we wanted down here if we were writing in the syntax editor. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in our commands in the syntax editor, and what we want, hopefully, will come up in the output. So sometimes it can be a little confusing. So I'm going to open up the PSPP user guide. Right, this downloads with PSPP. You can also Google it. It's the first thing that comes up if you just Google PSPP guide. And I'm going to do Control F for find, and box plot, you can see it's already typed in there for me. So hit box plot because that's what I want. I'm going to hit, just scroll up a little bit, it's a little above what I want. So this is the section that I want. It's called Examine, and this is where I can plot a box plot. Okay, so it gives me the commands I need, the options for each command, and then if I scroll down, it gives me a little paragraph on what each of the commands is telling us to do. So feel free to read over that whole thing if you want. It's page 139 in the user manual, but I'm going to just talk about it as I type it out. So let me open that one. So the first thing we want to do in the syntax editor is examine. And that is the overarching command that we're going to look for. And then I'm going to do variables equals, and then the first variable I'm going to type in here is the quantitative data. So I want the math score. I'm going to click enter, and then I'm going to divide the math score by my socioeconomic status. So I don't need the by factor here, but if I want to separate the math scores by, say, my socioeconomic status, then I'll put this here. If I don't put anything, it will just do the math. So I want it divided by socioeconomic status. And then I'm going to do /statistics equals, and then in this case, what I'm going to look for are the extreme values. So I'm going to do extreme, and then in parentheses, I'm going to put a 3. So that 3 in parentheses means I want them to tell me the 3 extreme values on either end. So the 3 largest and the 3 smallest. If you don't put any number there, it will default to 5. And I'm going to do /plot equals box plot because that's the plot that I want. And then I'm going to do this compare. And you have a choice here between variables and groups. So the groups will do one plot per dependent variable. So my dependent variable is my math. So it'll give me one plot for the math, but it will separate it by my socioeconomic status, which is what I want. If I did variable, it would do one graph for the low socioeconomic status, then it will do another completely different one for middle, and then a different one for high. And if I had more than one variable, so if I did math and, say, writing, it would do the low with the math and the writing together, the middle with the math and the writing together, and so forth. But I want one for the math and each of the socioeconomic statuses in the same group. I'm also going to do /ID equals. Now here, this is for what you want it to label the extreme values in the box plot. So since we're just doing the math scores, I'm going to do ID equals math. And I'll show you what that means in the output. And then the last thing I'm going to do is percentile, because I want it to give me the percentiles. And it will do the hinge method that's discussed in the book. So I have all that. I'm going to click Run All, and we'll see what comes up. So we go over here, and first it's telling us just the math score in general. So it says I have 200 valid cases, none that are missing, for a total of 200. Here it gives me the highest and the lowest 3 scores. Again, that's from the 3 here in the extreme case. And it gives me the percentiles. So it uses one method to calculate 5, 10, 25, 50, 75, 90, and 95 percentiles. And that uses the hinge method for the quartiles of 25, 50, and 75. Right, so those are the numbers that are going to be used in the box plot. And here it is for the box plot, again, for math in general, so not going by the socioeconomic status just yet. And then we scroll down, and now it's doing it by the socioeconomic status. So it has 58 cases for the high socioeconomic status, 47 for low, 95 for middle. And again, they go in alphabetical order, so it looks a little strange, high, low, middle, but it's alphabetical. Next, we have the extreme cases, the extreme values. Again, the highest 3 and the lowest 3 for each of them. And then again, it has the percentiles. So in the quartiles were given by Hinge's method and this H-average method. And then we have the box plot. So again, we have one box plot for the math altogether, separated by high, low, and middle. And then these numbers here are our outliers, and the number here is the math score, and that's what this ID equals math is about. It's telling us that's the score of the outlier. Okay, so that's how you find a box plot for one variable. So we're going to edit this a little bit. So let's say I wanted to do the math score and the writing score. So after math, I'm just going to do a space and then type write. So that's the other score here, right? We've got the math score, and now I'm also going to look for the writing score. Now the ID, I don't want to put it as the math score, because that will show me the math score of the outliers for the writing also. So I'm going to change that, and I'm going to have it tell me the ID here. Okay, so I'm going to put ID equals ID, because that's what we labeled the ID. Compare is still going to be groups, and we'll see what happens now that I've got math and writing here. I could also do more than one categorical data. So if I wanted to do it by socioeconomic status and also by gender, I could include gender here as well. So we'll go to run, we'll hit all again. Down here it's blinking, that means there's new stuff here. And again, it tells us the overall math, the overall writing. So here's the, again, highest and lowest 3 for math, highest and lowest 3 for writing, the percentiles for the math, the percentiles for the writing, box plot for math, box plot for writing. So those are for the overall scores. Next, it's going to do the math by socioeconomic status and the writing by socioeconomic status. So again, this is just a little overview of how many values we have. Here are the extreme values. So in the top highest 3 for math in high socioeconomic status. Here's the lowest 3 for math in the middle socioeconomic status. And then again, we have it for the writing score as well. Next, we have the percentiles, again for socioeconomic status, math and writing. So here is my first box plot. So again, because we're doing compare by groups, we have one box plot for math split up by socioeconomic status, and one box plot for writing split up by socioeconomic status. If I had done compare variables, it would have done one box for it would have done one box for the math and writing for each of these socioeconomic statuses. So I would have had one box plot with both math and writing for high, one plot that had both box plots for math and writing for low, one box plot that had both math and writing for middle. Now the thing that looks a little confusing here with these guys is the outliers are labeled, again, not by their math score this time, but by their ID score, their ID number. So there wasn't someone in the low socioeconomic status who scored a 161, but rather, if we go back up here to math, 161 ID, the score was 72. So the ID was 161, but the score was 72. So that's the only thing that's a little bad about it if you're doing more than one math right at the same time. So we go down to the writing. Again, you've got the high, the low, the middle for the writing. And again, this is the ID of the variable, not the writing score. If we want to go to it, we can go back up to here and go writing, high, which one was it? 128. This guy right here. 128 had a score of 33. And then we have the same thing, the math and writing split up by gender. So we've got the lowest and the highest for females in math, the lowest and highest for males in math, lowest and highest for female in writing, lowest and highest for male in writing. We go down, again, here are our percentiles, and here are our box plots. So we can see that at least one male scored a lot higher than the female for math. And we can see for writing that the female's average was higher than it was for males. Okay, so that's how you can look for the box plots and the percentiles using, again, this syntax editor, because there isn't a nice button up here for you to use. So that's the downside, but there aren't too many that we have to use the syntax editor for. If there's another one, we'll come across it in another video. So try playing around with it, use the descriptives, try making a box plot, see how it goes. This might be useful in Project 1, hint hint. Okay. So have a good day.